Murph, what words you got left to describe this kid?
Yeah, that's pretty special. Yeah, pretty special. A lot of guys contributed tonight. It was, again, you saw what our team's about, what they've been about all year. Everybody, a lot of contributors, a lot of guys gave us what they had, and they didn't quit. They kept every pitch. 2 outs in the 8th. Adames, 2 strikes. It's a big hit. Mitchell comes up huge after the double play. Sometimes, there's a huge momentum shift. But, yeah, a lot of guys, great contributions. But Chourio, oof. 2 opposite field bombs.
Third row to the right.
How are you, man?
What's going on, Murph? You said back in spring training that you guys were really going to have to support Jackson because playing in the big leagues at 20 years old is really difficult. Throughout the course of the year, was there a moment where you saw the shift in him from the quiet kid trying to make an impact in a big league clubhouse to being a guy that hits that big home run in the 8th?
Yeah, more so than anything else, I think you saw it on defense. He made a couple diving catches. I'm not sure where, but somewhere late May, early June, he made a couple catches, and you're like, ooh, he showed some aggression in the outfield. And it was like, and then there was I want to say Angels. I don't know if I'm right on that, but when we played at the Angels, like there's some takes and some like taking ball 4, stuff like that. And all of a sudden, I'm like, this kid's getting it. You know what I mean? And it just, his ball strike started to improve right around early June. I keep thinking we were in LA, but I don't know for sure. But, the guys on the team supported him great. Willie and especially was, huge. Our assistant, Nestor Corridor, huge. But the kid came every day with a smile, and he's a great human, man. He's a great human. Been raised right.
Go to third row to the left.
Murph, you covered 5 1/3 with the bullpen, and that shutdown inning that you got after you scored to get it within 1. Obviously, huge moments throughout.
No doubt. I mean, all those guys. McGill, he's never pitched in the whatever inning that was, 4th inning. He was in the game in the 4th inning. He hasn't been in the game in the 4th inning since high school, probably. Pyops being in the game after what happened yesterday and still loading the bases and feeling, got a huge punch out. Drumstick, great job. But, you got to look to Joe Ross as kind of like an unsung hero in this game. You got 4 huge outs in crucial times. And Devin, obviously, don't underestimate, the kids. He wants that situation. But look to Frankie Montas. He stayed tough. He walked the leadoff hitter of the game. He scored. He made an error covering first. That guy scored. But he still gave us some big pitches, and he got 11 outs. And in the playoff game, now Manaya was tremendous. He did a tremendous job against us. But our guys have been doing this, contributing in different ways all year. These are guys, a lot of guys, like I said, that have been DFA'd or, Joe Ross hasn't thrown in the major league since, I don't know. How many years? 7. He threw in 15 in the big leagues, but has he thrown in the big leagues much after that? I don't know. He's had 2 major injuries and, yeah, it's just great to see.
We'll go second row to the right.
You mentioned Joe as kind of the unsung hero among those group of relievers who pitched today. He's been really good since he moved to the bullpen. What's made him so effective in that role, and what was the value of getting that appearance from him today in a spot where he really hasn't pitched a lot in his career?
Well, when we did the thing with McGill early, we knew it was going to come down to that type of thing, a righty against that group. And, he's poised. He throws the ball around the plate. He's poised. He tries to keep it out of the middle, and he's poised. He can sink the ball and bring it back on the outside. He loves his slider, and he's been out there. No situation's too big for him, so I was really pleased with this boys.
Last row to the left.
Pat, as someone who's been around baseball your whole life, the so-called clutch genes, some guys seemingly come up with huge hits in these huge moments. Is that something that just we like to talk about, or is that a real thing from where you sit?
I mean, there's been plenty of times when Hoskins has come through in the clutch, so to speak. No, not today. And then there's been other times when Mitchell didn't come through in the clutch, and it was today. Perkins had 3 quality at bats. Nobody notices it. Adames has been doing it all year. He wasn't working on a good 2 games here, and then all of a sudden 2 strikes in his last at bat, gets a knock. Sal's been that guy all year. He's pesky and gets things done. Turang has been, you guys have watched it. He's been terrific for, he's emerged as a real player. So there's been guys that have been clutch at times. Joey Ortiz has been clutch at times, not today. But is there that? I think guys that play long enough and get in that situation a lot realize they can keep it under control and perform. And then you got other things. If you're forcing it to happen, it doesn't happen. The clutch guys let it happen and meet the game halfway. And Jackson has a way of at a young age, he doesn't know any better. That's beautiful.
All right, we're just going to take a couple more because we have a couple players who want to speak to you guys. So start in the front row.
Murph, Garrett's obviously been through a lot of adversity with the injuries, missed a lot of time in his career. Can you describe how you felt for him to be able to come through in that moment?
Yeah, I mean, Garrett has been, you said it, man. I mean, Garrett's been through, 3 years of being injured. I've been in the big leagues parts of 3 years being injured. Missed how many games this year? And he's willing to do anything. We've got one of the best defensive center fielders in baseball, so he's played a lot of right field. He hasn't got to play every game. But you'd never know he's been through that adversity because he just doesn't show it to you. He just comes ready to play. He's got a smile on his face. He's ready to play every day. So the attitude gets him through it.
Last question to the right, 5th row.
Murph, obviously your veterans have been huge this entire season, but for you personally, how much fun is it watching and seeing these young guys grow and kind of embrace the stage that they're currently on?
Yeah, it's pretty cool when you think of Turang and Ortiz and Sal and Perkins and Jack. I mean, it's like these guys are freshmen, you know what I mean? And Mitchell's the older guy of the group, but he really doesn't have a full year of service in terms of games played. So it's pretty special watching these guys excel on the big stage.
Garrett, we've talked a lot about Jackson Chourio's journey over the course of the season, but like we were just talking about with Pat, it's been kind of a journey for you as well, coming in sort of midway through the year, coming off of injury. How would you describe it looking at the whole season now, especially with this moment maybe not the capper, but especially with this baked in, how would you describe the 2024 season for you?
Yeah, I mean, not really looking backwards, there's been a lot of stuff that's gone over the years, but that doesn't mean the work stops. You got to keep going, you got to keep pushing, you got to keep getting better. So as for your question, I just show up every day ready to compete and do whatever I got to do and help the team win in whatever ways are possible. So, I mean, I don't even know what else to say. I'm just happy to be here. I'm grateful, thankful. Come back out here and do it again tomorrow.
Go 4th row to the right.
For Jackson, it doesn't seem like the postseason, the pressure that's getting to you at all, obviously, the way you're performing. Just where does that confidence come from, and how do you manage to maintain your poise and keep from feeling nervous in those situations?
No se siente como la presión de los playoffs, te ha afectado. ¿Cómo tú mantienes esa confianza y mantener a tú mismo calmado durante el juego como
No, la verdad que la presión siempre va a estar. Pienso que uno tiene que saber cómo controlarla, uno tiene que saber lo que es como jugador y nada, controlarse, solamente vivir el momento y seguir jugando, dándolo todo.
Yeah, the pressure's always going to be there, and so as a player, our job is to just control it the best way possible, and so it's to go out there and find the moments where we can control it and just keep going out there and doing what we do.
First row to the right.
Jackson, how does that eighth inning from you guys just describe the overall year, the mindset of this team that you guys have?
¿Cómo el octavo puede describir el año entero que nosotros hemos tenido?
La verdad que un año muy bueno, un año increíble, por así decirlo, de mi parte y tanto de todos los muchachos. La verdad que hemos hecho un buen trabajo y hoy se vio el fruto de todo eso.
Yeah, it's just been an incredible year. There's not a whole lot much more to say other than that. It's been a incredible year for everyone, for all the guys in that clubhouse, and I think we saw the fruits that were bared from that.
Third row to the right, Tyler.
I have two for Garrett. First of all, when you come into the game as a pinch runner and kind of everybody's like, he's going to go, and you get thrown out, how do you move on from that? How do you stop from dwelling on that and just hope for another opportunity?
There's 27 outs. Game ain't over yet, When you look at situations like that, right, it's like, even if the whole world knows that you're going, things happen. It was a great throw. It was a great throw. It was right on my hand, so there's not much I could have done looking back at it. But I got back in the dugout. Everyone gave me a smack on the butt, said, keep going. Without words, I looked at Murph looked at me, smiled, and we just kept pushing.
And the other one, I guess you're on deck when Willie gets down the count 0-2, 2 outs, nobody on, and then fouls them off. Great at bat. What was your view of that and how important that was to set up your big moment?
He's been doing it all year. He's a true leader on and off the field. You see it day in and day out from our perspective, right? And I would say that you guys see it too, just the presence he brings. He's always prepared in the big moment, and it kind of that motivates you if you're behind him, right? You see the type of battle he put up. And I think that kind of just led into me going up there trying to have that confidence too, just being prepared, knowing that they got to get a pitch over the plate in somehow, some way, and try to get an out. So, it starts with him. It starts with the at-bat that he put together. And like we've done all year, we just continue to fight, no matter how many outs there are. We talk about it every night, but win tonight. Do whatever it takes. And that's what we did.
Last row to the right.
Garrett, if you can, walk me through what's going through your mind. You're about to get your first step out of the game. Fans are starting to stand. They sense something big could happen when Jackson gets up. He hits one over the fence. Things start to move really quickly. Willie gets up, gets on base. Describe your heart rate as you're watching all of that happen, knowing that you're going to have an opportunity.
Surprisingly, it wasn't too high. I was getting ready since about the fourth inning, just kind of staying loose and being prepared to go. Talked to Skip before the game even started, just said, stay ready. So going up there, like I said, in that situation, it's like the moment's telling you to speed up. Try to do more, swing for the fences, whatever you're thinking. But for me, it was just attack in the zone. Try to see some, be yourself, be relaxed, pass it to the next guy. That was my mentality. I'm not trying to hit a homer there. It's a nice result, obviously, but my thought is pass it to the next guy, keep it going. Because I know, especially with 2 outs, we've seen it all year long. It's 2 outs doesn't really mean anything, it's 2 outs in the inning, but once we got 2 outs, we keep rolling too. You know what I mean? We just pass it from one guy to the next. And that's just another example of that tonight. But man, I'm just proud of this team, man. We just continue to fight. Doesn't matter the score, doesn't matter how many outs, doesn't matter the situation. We're ready to go. So.
Third row to the left.
Jackson and then Garrett. Can you describe the trip around the bases, what you remember of it, that emotion going around in the eighth inning it's not a trot, right?
¿Te puede describir la emoción ese que viajando la base de home a home?
Sí, la verdad yo creo que la adrenalina todavía la tengo. fue un momento súper especial, yo creo que lo voy a recordar toda mi vida.
Yeah, I think the adrenaline is still getting to me. I think I still feel the adrenaline there, but it was a very special moment for me, and I think it's one that I'm going to look back on and remember for the rest of my life.
Can I just say same? No, I mean, just, yeah, I definitely haven't come down from it yet. I mean, that was, to come off the bench kind of and have that be my first at bat. I mean, I was amped for sure. But I mean, I think in those situations too, like the first thought is looking around, seeing how excited the fans are. They're a big part of this too, you know, like the energy that they're bringing. After getting to second, going home, it was like, let's go celebrate with the team. They're all fired up. You know, it's just an exciting time. And I wanted to come give him a smack because he's the reason why we got going in the first place there at the end. So they just, like I said, you root for each other. You want the best for each other. We all were out there wanting to win. And so, like I said, it's like, get through a whole season. Like, who else do you want to celebrate with? You want to be with your boys. You want to be with your team. So it was exciting.
Front row to the right.
Jackson, speaking of the crowd, I don't know if you had a moment to take in the way the noise they're making, the way the place was shaking after your homer, but do you feel the way that the city has kind of come behind you and supported you in this year?
Especialmente con la bulla que pasó después del home run, tú puedes sentir el apoyo que el ciudad de Milwaukee te ha dado este año.
Sí, no, la verdad que desde el día uno, desde el día que llegué, siempre he sentido ese apoyo, ese amor hacia mí. Y la verdad que se lo agradezco mucho a todos ellos, es que me han hecho sentir en casa y nada, súper contento y orgulloso de todo lo que hemos vivido. Y ellos han podido también vivir eso.
Yeah, definitely. I think from day one here, I felt the support and love that the city and the fans of Milwaukee have given me. And so I've always been just extremely grateful and very happy for that. And so, you know, these are moments that, you know, we get to share together, both me personally and the city of Milwaukee. So just very happy that we get to celebrate these together.
All right, we're just going to do a couple more. We're going to do last row on the left.
Garrett, this question is for you. Jackson, I think, probably knew that his was over when he hit it. It bounced off the facade. He hit it so hard. When did you know that you got it?
When it hit the top of the fence. I felt like when I hit it well enough. I'm not quite sure how hard the ball was hit, but I knew I hit it well. And felt like as I was kind of running down the baseline, I was just kind of like, go, 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 go. But it was, like I said, right when it hit the top of the fence, that's when I knew.
All right, we're going to go back to Tyler for the last question on the third row.
And then Garrett, when it goes out and you hit first base, you kind of twist or twirl around and gesture. Was that to anybody in particular, just to the fans? I mean, what was that?
Our dugout, first base coach, QB, we have a little, we usually point at each other. I don't know if I even pointed at him, and then also the fans too. Like I said, it's like the energy that was in that stadium, that whole eighth inning, you felt it. And so it was like they were just waiting for something to erupt, you know? And so I think just like at that point, it was just wanting to celebrate with them, you know, like throwing your hands up round and around the bases. And they're in it with us. And, you know, we're going to continue to need their support tomorrow and have a packed house. So hopefully they bring it again.